Hi, Hannah. Yeah, and I'm so glad to have this opportunity to have a chat with you. And this is Tony, my husband. And before we started the conversation, I just want to introduce listen to Cape Breton to you. Suddenly, I have this idea. Of course, a lot of teachers just told me Chinese students are hard for us to integrate into the community. So they suggest me to step outside and talk with locals. And I think it's a good idea. And I just try to, make the communication and record it. And a lot of students just, think this is a good idea. So I just set up this platform. And as for Breton Ability is, last month I organized that event.
Yes.
Yeah, and I just got the sponsorship from the best gift.
Yeah.
And I just discovered, that gift shop is not a normal gift shop. It's part of Breton Ability.
Yeah.
And it's a new area for me. Of course, in China, there's no social company, and I found, I just want to know more about you and make more Chinese students and international students know more about Breton Ability. I think your companies did amazing things for me.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you so
Breton.
much, and it's really a pleasure to be with both of you and to talk about the work that you do and the work that we do. So I'm really looking forward to this conversation. So really, our organization is, we're going to be 50 years old this year. So on this property, we've been, it opened in August of 1975. And, the company, the organization has evolved over the last 50 years. It was attached to the old mental hospital, which was the Cape Breton Hospital. And at that time, it was put in place with the idea of providing support to people with intellectual disabilities who would end up in psychiatric wards because of behaviors or what have you. And then, to prevent them from being homeless and things like that, they would come here. And it served its purpose for many years, and many of our participants who still live here have been here since then. Many of our staff who work here have been here since. And then, as time went on, we realized that, and this was way before I came, the importance of psychosocial rehabilitation really became something that was, needed for people with intellectual disabilities. So at that time, they decided that maybe a kind of a workshop for people to go to through the day instead of just living and not doing anything. They put some skill development for people. So the workshop came into existence, and that was the Learning and Employment Center. And then in 2012. When the organization went through a big overhaul and there was a rebranding, it changed from Breton Home to Breton Ability Center. There was more emphasis put on expanding the social enterprise piece. So we always had the best of Cape Breton.
Well, of course, when I first time I went to the gift shop, it's amazing. Yeah, Chinese people always like to buy the gifts for the friends, and the quality is good. I never, noticed that is part of this NGO. So it's definitely new era for me. And actually, in China, I'm a legal advisor, and I have some connection with this intellectual disability people.
Okay.
And I help them to set up the family trust for their family.
Okay.
But the family trust can only fix the economic problem,
but not the
the inclusion and day-to-day care. there is a big problem in China. So I'm so surprised for your organization. You did big job, yeah, from the social enterprises and can I call daycare center or?
It's the adult. It's like a learning and employment center.
Learning.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there is a big shift happening in Nova Scotia because we have many programs. So we have so you see our live, work, play, right? So we offer options for living, we offer options for working, and we offer options for recreational and community inclusion activities. So those are the three pillars for people with intellectual disabilities. And we don't just support people who live with us, we also support people who don't live with us, are living elsewhere with their family members, but they come to the Learning and Employment Center, they work at the social enterprise, right? So while two of our congregate programs will be closing and people will be moving out, we also see a lot of opportunity. Because as people move out, people need to, in order to truly belong, it's not just about setting up a nice home, right? Or giving them a place to live. It is about giving them a sense of belonging.
Yeah.
And how do we feel we belong? We feel we belong because we're attached to work, because we volunteer, because we do different things. So we feel that we are really, really well poised with the three pillars that we have.
And of course, I noticed the best gift, the best of Cape Breton Gift Shop recently is closed, and they will change a new location. Is there any new? Is there any news for us?
Sure. Yeah. So we are really excited about that. And again, it kind of just came up. It was very timely. The best of Cape Breton has had different locations, and we've always felt that it deserves a more kind of central platform, a more high traffic area. So when Peggy's Curiosity Shop closed down suddenly, and she was a big fan of ours, and we were huge supporters and fan of hers because our businesses shared a theme, right? She also held Cape Breton items, we also did that, but there was never this competition. We always worked well together, and the staff had a very, very good relationship with her. So when we found out that her store was closing, Joe McDonald, the landlord, is also a big supporter of Breton Ability. He told us about it, and we said, "Oh my God, this is fantastic." We didn't know at that time the circumstances behind Peggy closing her store, and she was very generous. She donated all the racks for display, and we went and we looked at the space, and we thought, this is amazing. So we are hoping that we will be doing a grand opening in the middle of May, and we are also rebranding our social enterprises and the Learning and Employment Center. So we will be releasing the new brand at that time. And that storefront will showcase the Abilities Cafe. So we'll have an arm of the Abilities Cafe there, serving things that people make, the residents make. We will have an arm of Janice's Boutique, so a little thrift store there, and of course the storefront. And the storefront too, we are really focusing on local products. So Grace Chisholm is our manager who we worked with and we were working on the, and so what we're doing is Grace is reaching out to local farmers, beekeepers, and businesses, and we forged a partnership with them. We will also be unveiling another amazing partnership with a local charity as well. So we see ourselves as being advocates for not just people with disabilities, but also advocates for community causes. Yeah. So that collectively, we are in the mission of making Cape Breton a community of difference. So that is what drives our business.
So, as the international students, do you think is there anything we can do to promote or help, your organization to do something? Of course, we are really want to make some contributions to this island. Of course, a lot of Chinese students, they're just like us. We have family, we have a lot of job experience, in our hometown. But now we are newcomer here, but we are eager to integrate here. Yeah.
And being an immigrant myself, I see the importance of that. I see that there need to be platforms for people who are coming, who are newcomers to Canada. And in larger cities, you have many more opportunities. You have more support available. Cape Breton, thanks to the international recruitment with CBU, has also expanded significantly. But I think, one of the things that I will say is that we are always looking for volunteers. And we want, we believe that, students are really critical. So, because that's where it starts. It starts, the awareness piece starts when they're young, right? And so they can spread the word then. So, there are different ways. What you're doing here goes a long way. When we are at our opening, it would be lovely if we could have some multicultural exposure there, because it's a win-win for both, right? We are celebrating our 50 years in June, so it would be lovely maybe if we can connect and we can see how we can showcase some of their talents, and at the same time they can see what we do. So I'm a big fan of volunteerism. That's where I started. Jobs don't just happen, don't just land on your lap when you're a new immigrant. People have to get to know you. And in all fairness, we all have to pay our dues before we really land somewhere, right? Because you're coming to a brand new country. And even though we've all been very successful in our countries at home, to really assimilate and become part of a community, you have to learn about the community. So, I believe that volunteerism, putting yourself out there, becoming involved with different organizations that can't afford to pay, but really need manpower, is a great way to build up your resume. We have board openings. We have, our board is I'm reporting to a governance board. Openings come up in the board, and we always are looking for people who can join the board. So there are many ways to be part of that.
So next time you can choose best gift shop for your,
Yeah.
your choice. Yeah. And come back to your own story. Of course, you are a newcomer, but a lot of years ago. Yeah, and I have watched a lot of videos. About you, and you have you said you took maybe 7 to 8 years to settle down in Cape Breton.
Easy.
Yeah.
That's easy.
Yeah.
So I came here in 1992, and I had, I had got all my education in India from, recognized universities. They were recognized in Canada. So I had my undergrad, and then I had my bachelor in education, and then my psychology graduate program. And I came here, and I really thought that I would land a job of my dreams within the first 3 months. I spoke good English, I thought I was this. I was a gold medalist from my university, so it was like, I have everything to sell myself, right?
What sport gold medalist?
What's that?
Of what
Oh,
sport?
psychology. No.
Psychology.
Yeah, I had the highest marks in my program.
Amazing.
So I came here, and it was like Canada was at the worst recession.
92.
92. It was like the coal mines were closing. The steel mines were closing. And there were no jobs. I tell the students who come here, I say, you're really lucky that, we have Walmart, Burger King, KFC, all these people are hiring. Nobody was hiring. And there was one thing that I said to myself, that if I get into the market and start doing something that is not in line with my education, I will never get out of it. Because then you start chasing money, right? So I was very, very firm about that I'm going to work as a psychologist. So a very good friend of mine, she's like a sister to me, she said, you know what, she came for I had got married and come here, so she and they had my ex-husband's family had a little reception. She came to see me and she said, you know what, I have a friend who's a psychologist and I want to introduce you to her. So she called me, I went to see her at a hospital that was in front over here. And she said, we are not hiring, and in order to practice as a psychologist, you need to pass the exams, you need to do. I said, what do I need to do? So now it is about getting all your transcripts, your degree, and the whole process, right? So then I went to CBU, nothing. And I went to, I was sending letters to the government, nothing. And I said, okay, you know what? I need a purpose, because it was depressing. 4 o'clock it got dark, November 12th, 11th I came here. And it would get dark at 4 o'clock. And what was I doing? Right? So I said, I want to start volunteering. So I started volunteering at the old Cape Breton Hospital. And I treated it like it was a full-time job. I used to show up at 8:30, I used to leave at 5 o'clock every single day. Wow. I didn't earn money, but what I did was I made connections.
Yeah.
Right? I met social workers, I met other psychologists, psychiatrists, got to know me. Then I went to CBU and I said, I would really like to teach, but because I had made connections here, I started teaching introduction to psychology. I got 3 courses there. Then I started teaching more courses. So I started, and then I got a job at the Department of Community Services, now Opportunities and Social Development, was hiring. They were opening a new department for employment and training people who have been displaced. So they asked me to apply, and I got that job, my first big job, and I had started my process for my licensing as a psychologist. And 2 years later, all that, so that was 95, 96, so took 6 years for all the registration, for me to write my exams, do everything. In 1998, I got registered as a candidate, applied to the hospital, wrote my oral exams, my written exams, and became a licensed psychologist. Wow.
It's an amazing journey. Yeah, give me a lot of confidence. I remember when I connect with you and you just send out my email, and I just search your name, and I thought, wow, I have a little bit connection with you, and I think I can definitely get a lot of confidence with your story. Yeah.
It's, it is, you have to believe in yourself, and you have to have a vision. You have to have a purpose. You have to, I will encourage every single immigrant newcomer to have a vision board. Where do you see yourself in 10 years from now? And chase that dream. Because unless you have that vision, you're going to be, the world is wide today.
Yeah.
You can be here, there, everywhere. But you know what? This is where I want to be in 10 years and chase that dream. And I'm just, I remember, so, Christmas time came and we were driving, my ex-husband and his family, we used to drive to look at the Christmas lights. So we went to Newlands Avenue, Wood area, and I was like, oh my God, this is so nice, everything looks so nice. I wish I lived here one day. And somebody from the family said, oh, you can dream on, you'll never live here. Guess where I live now?
Yeah.
That's where I live,
Yeah.
right? So it's about those, it's about just making sure that you believe in yourself.
As newcomer, the new life is not easy, but we have a good start now. And I think Cape Breton, local people, just like you, are so kind and warm-hearted. So I get a lot of energy and help from you. Yeah.
No, that's great. And you know what? I wish you nothing but the best. I think you guys will
Thank
do
you.
amazing.
Thank
I think
you.
I can just feel it that,
Yeah.
I think both of you will do very well. And, I'm sure there is.
And I hope this conversation, I will definitely share more students, more newcomers to know more about Breton Ability and know more about you. I think they will definitely get a lot of inspiration and confidence from your stories.
Thank you. I'm happy to help in whatever little way I can, listen.